little bit tripped up there. They will wait for the sound of go. So here we have a start of the women's second varsity 8, and let's give you some lineups. In lane 1, LaSalle. Lane 2, Temple. Lane 3, Drexel. Lane 4, Georgetown. Lane 5, Fordham. And lane 6, Monmouth.
Yeah, so obviously our lane 3 boat will have won their semifinal, as will have our lane 4 boat. So Drexel and Georgetown, a similar lineup as was in our women's varsity 8 race. In the second varsity 8 race, but you can see here in the early goings, Drexel had a really nice start there, but Georgetown, able to come back here with a bit of an extended sprint at the start, and we'll see now they settle down a little bit into a base rating, and Drexel takes an early lead here by just a few seats.
Yeah, that's right. And as we just let this race shake out a little bit towards the 500, we have a lot of these crews rowing at about a 35 to 36, so still rowing a bit high, which again is kind of the trend right now. So a lot of these women can row very well at some of these higher or mid-range rates, 35, 36, some even 37, but it's on the coxswain here to leave room to go. So we actually do want, even if we row a little bit higher throughout the meat of the race, we want to leave that extra gear for the last 500 or for the sprint. So that is on the coxswain to kind of hold the horses back sometimes, even if they're rearing to go, and wait for that final 500 or 400 to kind of start setting up the sprint and leave that extra gear so their crew actually has another place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And 500 meters into this one, it is Drexel by about a half a boat here over Georgetown. Looking at the results from the time trial yesterday, there were no semifinals, only 7 boats in this event entered. So from the time trial straight to a final here. Drexel did have the fastest time in qualifying, and only just under a second faster than the Georgetown boat. But right now with about a 2 to 3 second lead over that Georgetown boat. So Drexel, early goings here, just about 750 into this one, looking really strong.
Yeah, that's right. And we still have Drexel as our current leader, as we have said before, still rowing at about a 35. So they're clipping along there and doing a pretty good job doing it. We have Georgetown in lane 4 chasing them down, still overlapped. So that coxswain is about even with their bow deck there, looking at that bow number, trying to kind of break away and detach from the bow of that Georgetown boat. And it looks like they are about to do it. So I'm going to give them about 3 strokes to about detach, unless Georgetown really makes a move on them. Then we're going to look over at Temple in lane 2, also on the hunt for Georgetown. So here comes Temple actually making a little bit of a power move here, not bringing the rate up too much, but they are starting to get a little bit more speed towards that bow, letting the boat run underneath them a little bit more, chasing down Georgetown. Then we will look over to lane 1, that is LaSalle, and then we will go Fordham in lane 5 and Monmouth in lane 6.
Yeah, so when the things start to open up a little bit here on this Cooper River in this at the end of the second 500, beginning of the third 500, that's where you'll see a little bit more of this chop. That'll stop a little bit as they get the course narrows just a little bit before it opens up once again into that 500. So you see here the waves obviously going in the direction of the boats here, but still, keep an eye as those waves continue to increase throughout the day. Still pretty rowable here, just some minor white caps out there, but nothing too egregious for these boats to handle. And again, as we said many times, lots of these are a lot of river crews here, a lot of big lake crews here who are used to rowing in waves. Obviously, we want the best surface possible, but this is not something that these crews are unaccustomed to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And really the only change that we have seen here is nothing in the placements, but we are just seeing a little bit wider margins. But we still have Georgetown on the hunt for Drexel right now. So it looks like Drexel has detached again from their bow just a little bit, but not by much, because Georgetown is still not letting them go that easily. So really well done by Drexel, but they are still walking away with the lead here.
And some geese out there for Monmouth in lane 6. Didn't look like it affected them too much. Looked like that 2-seat oar might have made contact with one, but they were able to move through it there.
They must not be local geese. They don't know to get out of the way.
500 meters left to go now for our leaders as they hit the 1,500 meter mark. And the women's boat from Drexel here looking to win this Coleman D. Boyle Trophy in the women's second varsity 8.
Yeah, this Drexel crew, again, doing a really good job. Still not able to walk away too much from Georgetown, but they are doing a great job. Again, we can see their puddles here. So the second half of their stroke is really, really nice. They're sending the boat pretty far here. An 8 can go about 10 meters per stroke, so very, very roughly 10 meters per stroke. And every stroke is like doing a deadlift. So if you think about it, every one of these athletes is doing about 200 deadlifts over and over and over again. Again, we know that we take some fractions into account, so it's very roughly 200. But literally doing the equivalent of about 200 deadlifts, full power, coming down the course and moving this boat about 10 meters per stroke. So that is a lot of force exerted from every single athlete to get this boat up and moving every single stroke. Yeah,
and to your point, you know, I often talk about deadlifts in relation to the rowing stroke, but it's even more of a clean at the end of the day, because you are opening up your back and pulling your arms up a little bit. So, you know, it is even just that added extra part of the deadlift to fully get that, you know, that bar onto your shoulders there. It's not quite the same effect, but, you know, power cleans are often one of the best training techniques for rowers.
Yeah, you are right. Thank you for clarifying for all the gym bros out there.
Of course,
so, of course, we want to get that right. But yeah, here we are looking at Drexel again, doing deadlifts or cleans, whatever you prefer, coming down the course in a grand fashion, crossing the line in first for the gold. Look at that coxswain splashing the water there. The Drexel Dragons followed very closely by Georgetown in second.
Yeah, and we're going to have the third varsity 8s right after this. So we have sweep attempts coming our way for both Temple and Drexel in these events. So really impressive there as finishing in fourth is Temple, followed by St. Joe's, or I'm sorry, is Temple followed by Fordham and Monmouth there. So an impressive race. Oh, Temple finishing third, rather, and LaSalle finishes in sixth. So Temple takes the bronze in the women's second varsity 8. And again, now we move on to our third varsity 8s, and we'll see if Temple in the men's and Drexel in the women's can't complete the sweeps of those 8 events.
Yeah, you're right about that. And if you are not down at the Jumbotron where the Festival of Rowing is taking place, down by all of the vendors, the Jumbotron, the beer garden,